Hello there. Welcome back to the Gas Holes Podcast. We got a assload of a fucking podcast for you today. It's probably one of the meatiest show outlines we've put together. We got obviously all the playoff stuff, man. Daytona, just everything. We got a little bit of everything. We got throwbacks. We did some playoff grids. We're gonna talk about that and our predictions over the 10 race playoff. Don't forget to make your own grids as well. I don't know how the fuck you did. I got a screenshot of the grid and just kind of did it through Photoshop. But
there's got to be a website somewhere because I know people who don't have Photoshop who do it. So.
Yeah, I went on NASCAR.com and it was like I thought that was really going to be the first thing I'd see. Of course, it wasn't. But yeah, I don't know why it's not like why they don't hype that up. Like, hey, make your own playoff grids. I don't know. Maybe they do it somewhere. They just do a shitty job of marketing it. But I'm sure they probably have a prize or something if you get somebody right or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, we'll talk about that eventually here at some point. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. So let's get on with it then. Daytona, baby, Xfinity and Cup. Colleague really stepped on their dicks, didn't they? I can't believe they did that shit.
Oh man, how many races is Haley gonna win because the leader had problems? What is he up to now? 3 with there was Canada, then there was Todd Gilliland blowing a tire or a motor or something that time in a truck race, and then he had the lightning win and Cup. He's the luckiest son of a bitch ever. Yeah, and I guess it's because he got robbed out of that one Daytona win because his tire touched the yellow line or whatever. But I could not believe it. So here's my thing. I've shit on Russ a lot, and I can't shit on a man for going for the win, but he just he did everything wrong in that situation. It's easy for me to say not being a race car driver, but he obviously he was lagging back to time a run, but he did it in the middle of the corner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then obviously AJ's coming down, and I guess there's debate on whether AJ came down on him. I don't think AJ really came down on him. I think he just came down and then their bumpers weren't lined up.
There's a little bit of room, but there wasn't a whole lot of room. You know what it looked? Yeah. It looked like it was NASCAR heat. How they'll ride like a lane or a half a lane up off the groove, so it looks like you can kind of stick it in there, but you can't really do it. And it always pisses me off. I try to put it in there and either cause a wreck or something. That's basically how it went down there. But I'm just sitting there watching. I was like, oh, well, GG, colleague. And sure and shit, they trampled all over the Johnsons there. I couldn't believe it, man. That's like the last thing you want to do coming to the line, man. One of you is going to win. They got really lucky that Haley ended up. I thought it was going to be one of those James Busch kind of wrecks where everybody just piled up and then somebody came through there at the end. I was really hoping, but then Haley slid through. But yeah, way to go there, everybody. Hey, dude. Haley's a lucky son of a bitch. I don't know how he does it, but the golden horseshoe has found Justin Haley, I guess. Get that man in a competitive cup ride, dude. He'll be a cup champion in no time. The rest of the race, I really don't remember a whole lot of. Did anything else happen?
I mean, it was chaotic for the first little bit. A lot of somewhat smaller crashes, I guess. And then I kind of was dozing off, not going to lie.
They did crash a lot of smaller wrecks. I remember that, yeah.
I wasn't dozing off because I was bored. I had a long day, and then all those cautions were putting me to sleep. And I woke up to that wreck off of 4, I guess the biggest one out of all of them. And then I fell asleep during that, and then I guess there was another wreck that brought up the red flag, and I woke up during that red flag. And then after that, there was just there were 10 cars the rest of the race. So I don't know. If they just brought a bunch of fragile cars to that race or what the deal was, but it was eventful, and then it wasn't really eventful, and then it was a really eventful ending, which was cool, I guess.
It was one of those kind of plate races where everybody in the back managed to wreck, which was kind of disappointing because that's you don't want those guys to wreck. You want the top guys to go out there, sand it, wreck each other, and then you got all the scrubs there at the end to hopefully win or something. But for whatever reason, there was because Jeffrey Earnhardt crashed at some point, and Joe Graff, I think he was the first wreck, right? He came down on Earnhardt, I think, through the trial, or something happened. He did something stupid like he usually does, and it tore up the car. Then the flat tire tore off the half of the side of it. Yeah, it was one of those kind of races where just everybody in the back just kind of wrecked. So that kind of sucks. But hey, at least I was really happy that we at least got a new winner on the weekend, because, like, you know, I was really expecting somebody stupid to fucking win. I don't know if Bill was the stupidest option, but Justin Haley won Xfinity, you know, whoop-de-fucking-do there. Collie, congratulations. But I was really happy we at least got Bill to win on Saturday night. I'm kind of sick of watching Collie race, though. You know, I respect the whole team racing and stuff because they do it well, but it's like, that's no fucking fun, man. That's no fun to watch, man.
I liked how everybody was like, Colleague's the DEI of the Xfinity series, and then on the last lap, everybody's like, "Yeah, never mind." Dale and Mikey wouldn't have done that. Yeah. I don't think so.
It's funny. Dude, I can't. I hate the team racing. I fucking hate it. I don't. At some point, they were talking to Dale Jr. about it. I guess it was Saturday night, and they were asking his opinion. He's like, "Yeah, I hated all that stuff, all that team stuff. I just went out there and raced for myself, you know." I like that kind of style of racing, especially in the Cup Series, man, where now all the manufacturers try to work together, and Chevy versus Ford, and then the Toyotas kind of hang around. I don't know. I wish the guys would just go out there and fucking race. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, you're going to have your guys who you're probably going to work with, and you're going to have those guys like Stenhouse who are just going to work with everybody or work with nobody and still, you know, get to the front. But I don't know. It's especially the colleague stuff, though. It kind of ruins the Xfinity plate races for me because, you know, I don't know. I just want to see somebody stupid win. They always ruin it.
Yeah, and that's... I've shit on modern day plate racing a lot, and that's even part of it. Like, even Dale and Mikey, when they would dominate those plate races, you didn't see them just stacking up lanes, you know what I mean, and just outnumber. I mean, they were outnumbered. They just knew what they were doing, and then when it came time to it, they found each other and they got up to the front, but they still raced for it. You know what I mean? It's like ever since I think it's what started. It was the tandem racing where guys it became normal for guys to just let their teammates win, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now I guess a lot of them just go into that, not necessarily let them win, but like team victory is a victory for all of us. You know what I mean? I don't like that attitude.
Yeah. I don't know if you can really pinpoint it on any other thing, but it's just like anything else, just the racing and the etiquette, I guess. It just kind of evolves, I guess. It's not really, it's kind of similar. Just like you look at the road courses, how they used to be, man, nobody would give a shit, and now everybody gives a shit and tries really hard. So it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of different now, I guess. And now you got all the manufacturers working together, and you know, somebody does something stupid and just wipes them all out anyway. So I don't know. But fucking Bill, he finally fucking did it. He's had a lot of good plate races, man, and just, you know, was up there at the end and something happened to him. I was super excited to see him win, not just because he's kind of a meme, but I don't know. It's just cool to see somebody get their first win. I'm always all for it, especially in the Cup Series too. I'm always for it, seeing somebody get their first dub, and it didn't really shake up the playoffs, I guess, right? Because you know, Jimmy got caught up there in the end, and DeBenedetto snuck through. I was really hoping somebody like way outside was gonna win their way in. I don't know who would have done it, but either way, we got a Bill dub, and Quinn finished tied his career best again, 23rd. I was kind of pissed because it was another one of those races where he got unlucky with the damn wave around. He was going to get back on the lead lap, and I think it was Michael McDowell got caught up in one of those crashes, and he ended up going a lap down, and he got the lap back instead of Quinn, and it pissed me off. Because then I think at some point then he would have got back on the lead lap, but he just didn't. And so it would have improved his finishing position by a good 2 spots, I think. So it technically would have been a career best if he would have ended up on the lead lap. But it just didn't work out that way. Green flag pit stops really is what ruined it. Because they went a little ways, and you know it's tough for small teams like that to kind of be included in everybody else's plans. So they just kind of have to follow what everybody else does, and kind of, you know, they're already down speed anyways, and they just kind of have to hope they can, you know, stick with them. You probably got a slower pit crew, slower car. You're already behind them anyways. You just kind of have to guess and you know, hope you can stick with somebody. And at that point, they just went a lap down, and I don't know what happened after that. But either way, it's still a clean 23rd place finish, so I'm cool with it. Didn't do anything stupid. Nice clean race. They could have finished 21st with Ty Dillon and Corey LaJoie eating shit there on the last lap, but I think it was Brennan Poole. He was like him and Ross Chastain were the two guys that managed to stay on the lead lap get back on the lead lap there at the end of the race. They finished 15th and 16th, so That's probably about where Quinn would have finished if he could have got back there on the lead lap. Some of those guys had problems there at the end, especially a handful of cars were torn up. But yeah, guys like him, Timmy finished there behind him, 24th. Suarez finished 26th. He was doing actually really well there. I don't know what happened. Oh, he got caught up in something. It says accident. That stinks. I'm just scrolling through all the NASCAR app, and I see
Timmy had a good run going in Xfinity, if I remember right. He had a problem or a penalty or something.
Yeah, they were talking about that. He had a new engine in there. They had I don't know how they described it, but they had one of the top engines in there, and they were working with the Toyota teams. And they worked with him for a little while, and then they just didn't. But either way, his race kind of fell apart there at the end. But he did lead some laps. That was really fucking cool. But yeah, he finished 24th in the Cup Series race. I was scrolling through here, and it says everybody's final status: accident, 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 accident. And you get to Joey Gase 31st, running, and everybody else accident, accident, accident. Joey Gase, dude, moving chicane of the night. I think I don't know how many times they fucking lapped him, but every time they did, he was going a good, probably 15 miles an hour slower than everybody else. At some point, I tweeted, "Everybody wave to Joey Gase." Poor bastard, but he had a rough go. But yeah, that's really about that for Daytona. All in all, hey, you know what? We made it basically through the entire weekend without any rain, so I'd consider that a win. We didn't have to go through that horse shit, which is pretty...
If you would have told me that, I would have, especially this year, where it seems like every race weekend has been affected by rain in some way, that we'd go to Daytona in almost September, and not deal with rain, I'd have called you fucking crazy.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't know how.
Well, there was talks about hurricanes affecting the race there for a little bit, so...
Yeah, we got lucky. We sure as shit got lucky. Other racing on the weekend, Formula One was awful. Spa's usually a great track, but there was one crash. I think that was really the only thing that happened during the race. Was that George Russell ate shit, and this tire ended up bouncing across the track, and who was it to pilot into it? I can't remember. I was so sleep deprived. I was out of it, dude. Once I saw Lewis Hamilton got out front and Bottas was not catching him, I just tuned out. That was done. I was sleeping after that. Pretty boring F1. I didn't catch the end, but Lewis Hamilton won. Whoop de fucking do. Pretty boring there. IndyCar was awful this weekend at Gateway. They had a doubleheader at Gateway. Everybody was flaming it up, dude. The first race ended up, we kind of had a finish, but it was still pretty bad. Sato had a problem in the pits, I think. He probably would have leapfrogged there at the end to the lead, but it just he lost enough time in the pits and he came out second. And I don't know what the hell's wrong with these cars, but it's like they've got a worse aero package than NASCAR does. I don't know how they did that, but Texas was awful. Gateway, absolutely awful. I just like the dirty air is just so bad. Sato, he closed in so fast there at the end on the race one, and he got to about a half a second behind. You get stuck. Like even the lap traffic was a factor at the end, putting dirty air on the leader's nose. So I don't know. It was really hard to watch. It really was. It was terrible. It was bad. I don't know what IndyCar needs to do, but they need to do something, dude. I was just thinking back to Texas, man. No wonder nobody watches IndyCar. They came out. I don't know if you remember. Texas usually has always been a really big race for IndyCar, and this was. I thought it was going to be a really big deal. First race of the IndyCar season, they started at Texas. It was right around when all the sports are starting up, and Texas race, big deal. Fucking sucked. Nobody could pass. It was a one groove track, and I mean, I didn't really totally blame it on IndyCar just because the track is stupid now.
Yeah.
But looking at IndyCar going to some of the other tracks, Jesus fucking Christ, man. I don't
understand. It would have been bad on old Indy. Yes. Or old Texas. Texas was one of the ones I used to watch when it was the drafty packy racing.
Yeah.
I don't like calling it pack racing, but I guess that's really what it was.
That's about what it was. It was just batshit crazy is what it was. Were you going to continue your thought?
No. I was reading something. Somebody sent me a message. But I watched probably 15 minutes worth of that Texas race. I didn't watch any of the Gateway race. But yeah, I don't know. Can you explain to me, like, has IndyCar racing, and this is not me like shitting on it, has it ever been good on like smaller tracks like that? I know they've tried. I've watched a Phoenix race or something, and it wasn't that great. Like, have they ever really put on good shows on smaller tracks?
They've had some pretty decent races at Iowa. From what that's the thing though, it's like sometimes it's really streaky. It feels like sometimes because you'll have an Iowa race where like Newgarden's just locked in. He just slaps the field 5 times. Other times it's just kind of back and forth. Phoenix had one race that was probably one of the worst IndyCar races I ever watched. I don't know what year it was, but it wasn't too terribly long ago. And they had, I think, like 4 or 5 cars finished on the lead lap. It was tough. I don't know what it is. They don't go to Phoenix anymore. That's another thing. We always talk about fucking IndyCar, but it's like their schedule changes every fucking year. And it's like any success, any good race they've ever had at a certain track, they fucking lose the track. I don't get it. I don't understand. IndyCar is a fucking mess. It really is. It's cool when it works every once in a while, but man, they just got so many fucking problems over there too. The aero package stinks. Their social media stinks. Nobody watches their races. They lose half their schedule every single year. It changed. Obviously, this year is a little bit different with the COVID, all right? But between everything else, man, it's just, I don't know. It kind of stinks. But yeah, Gateway was not good. I don't know where they go next. I think it's Mid-Ohio, if that even happens. Who the fuck knows?
Why does IndyCar like go to? I mean, I get why they go to like Indy, but why not just stick to road courses? I feel like they do decent shows there. Why do they have to go to these other places?
Would you say road courses? Sorry, my phone was talking to me.
Yeah, why do they go to small ovals and shit like this, or even like Texas, when they could just be going to road courses where they put on decent shows?
I don't know. That's just part of IndyCar. The thing with it though is, IndyCar used to be all just like a mile and a half, like NASCAR, but good. You know what I mean? Like back in the day when they were just they were fucking animals, dude. They just like some of the biggest stones in sports. Back when they'd go to high banked mile and a halves. They used to go to Kentucky. They used to go. I think they went to Atlanta at some point. They went to a lot of fucking Fontana. Texas is still on the schedule. Dude, they've gone to so many fucking tracks, so many NASCAR tracks. I understand why they don't go to a lot of the high banked mile and a halves, like high bank, like Vegas. Like we know why that doesn't happen. But I think more or less now they go to these like smaller ovals. That just kind of, you just kind of hope those make the fans happy instead of some of the other ovals they used to go to. But I don't know, man. I don't run IndyCar. Maybe I should. Maybe I'd do a better job. I don't know. Probably not though. They got the work cut out for them. That's for damn sure. Especially looking at the ratings. Ooh. But I think that basically covers the boring racing of the weekend. Trucks also raced at Gateway. I didn't watch any of that. I don't know if you. I saw Sheldon Creed get a little hot there in the corner and move Todd Gillen out the way. But
that was such a weird. That almost looked like netcode of some sort too, or not netcode, but you know how like you'll hit on iRacing and it just shoots somebody straight into the wall.
Yeah,
it was such a weird looking thing.
Poor Todd getting pooed on.
That guy, man. I mean, I'm not a huge Todd Gilliland fan, but Jesus Christ, I feel bad for him sometimes. Because if anybody's gonna get shit on in a truck race, it seems like it's him.
I only like him just because that stay in your fucking Cowboy stay in your fucking motorhome. That was the funniest fucking thing I ever heard. He always have brownie points with me for that.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. But God, that's stupid too. When you're that young in your career, look where it got him.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
I mean, he was gonna end up here anyway, most likely. But whatever chance he had of staying in that little system was gone. Like I bet you win your first race, and it'd be different if it was like his 20th race. You know what I mean? But it's like your first race. This is supposed to be such a positive moment. And the first thing out of your mouth is you yelling to your boss, you could stay in your fucking motorhome. Like, enjoy the moment. You know what I mean?
Well, that was, what was going on that weekend? Did they, because I was trying to figure that out the other day. Did they announce that he wasn't coming back or something? I think Kyle Busch was roasting him. I know he was doing that. He was pissed off at how the KBM trucks were running. And he was.
No, yeah. Rightfully so.
He was pointing blame at some of the drivers. But I think everybody knew at least Todd Gillen wasn't coming back. I don't know. I just thought it was fucking funny to me. He was fucking hyped too, and I respect it. So the what the hell is this IROC series called again? Superstar Racing Experience. That sounds like a shitty like go-kart track he'd go to or something. I don't know. Whatever. Shitty. That sounds like Monster Games' newest game. Speaking of which, just a little off topic. They're coming out with another. You remember Tony Stewart's Sprint Car Racing? They're coming out with another one, but it's Tony Stewart's dirt race. I don't know what it's.
Great American Racing, ain't it? Wasn't it Great American or something?
It might be. I don't know. Let me see if I can find it.
I'm pretty sure it's Tony Stewart's Great American Racing. You know a game's bad when they have to turn around immediately name a game Great and have American in the title just to try to recover some of that money.
Tony Stewart's All American Racing.
That's what it is. All American. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Here's the thing. They That first game was probably the worst game I've ever played ever. So I can't imagine this one looks a little bit better. It is kind of cool. They got dirt street stocks. They got legend cars, dirt legend cars, and they got modifieds now. So, but the same still applies. It looks like the same fucking career, the same horse shit. So I don't know how much fun you could possibly have out of the game. They got Jeff Fabiano to play it, give it a first look. I'm sure that went well. I'll probably buy the game. I'll probably hate myself for doing it. I'll probably shit on the game, and then people will get upset at me because I call it what it is. And yeah, I was surprised at how many people were like, "Nah, the game's good. What the fuck's wrong?" That is a fucking worst game I've ever played. That Tony Stewart Sprint Car Racing. That tells you how bad it was. They didn't have pre-orders for the game at all. They just, here's a game, not a single licensed track in it. I don't know. It was like $30 or whatever. And now look at however many months later they come out with Tony Stewart's All American Racing. Let's see if we can get a little bit more money out of the people. What a bunch of horseshit Monster Games.
I mean, maybe they're making it better. I would hope.
Yeah, maybe they're not though. I don't know.
Didn't they? What the whole thing was? It's a completely reworked engine or something.
That's what they say. But what the fuck does that mean?
They say that
days?
A lot, I guess. I never played the Tony Stewart original one. Was it just like NASCAR Heat dirt racing?
Oh, it was even worse. It was like, you know how you start off in career mode when you're like down 500 horsepower? It's basically what you do, but on dirt. So it's like you basically just hold it wide open while AI cars just slide around into you and just push you around. Basically, you're just a ping pong ball. Basically, it was awful. There was no damage in it whatsoever. There was no damage model or anything. You just bounce off the fucking walls. I think it did give you damage, but it didn't. There was no visual damage at all. There was not a. It was Tony Stewart's Sprint Car Racing, but it didn't have Tony Stewart's fucking track, Eldora, that he fucking owns. That was just like you lost me at that point. It was that fucking.
I remember back in like 2010, World of Outlaws had a game that was.
Yeah, they had a couple
respectable.
They were all pretty
great.
Yeah, but like considering back, what fucking 10 years ago or more, not bad. It's 2020 now, man. We have a lot of technology to make video games. I just don't understand what the fuck we're doing. That's all I'm saying. All right. Anyway, back to what the fuck we were talking about. Yes, the Superstar Racing Experience. Basically the new. I've been calling it the new IROC. Willie T. Ribbs is the next confirmed driver. If you don't know him, check out the documentary on Netflix. It's called Uppity. It's 10 out of 10 would recommend. I've been
meaning to watch this.
Yeah, it's really good. I didn't really know much about Willie T. Ribbs and his story, but it's quite the story, man. He's a badass. He really is. It's a great documentary. Once again, it's on Netflix called Uppity. I'm excited to see him race, man. It's pretty damn cool. He was a beast in the Trans Am cars, and yeah, he was just he went through a lot of shit in his career. Fun fact, this is like one of my few Indy Lights facts. I think he was there in the last Indy Lights race in the streets of Baltimore. I don't know why the fuck he kind of stopped racing, but he came back for an Indy Lights race at Baltimore. I don't know why, but it's fucking, yeah, I guess. I don't know. And I think that was his last race until, I guess, now this Superstar Racing, whatever. But, so yeah, another confirmed driver for that.
I like what this is turning into. I was expecting it to kind of be a NASCAR fest with maybe an IndyCar guy or two.
Yeah.
But I like how they're dipping into like old school people. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if Willie T's really old school, but I mean, he's not a young guy. It's not like we're going to be seeing William Byron out there. You know what I mean? Like I was really expecting seeing probably Kyle Larson would be out there and then somebody like fucking Kyle Busch or something. You know what I mean? It's like those guys are cool and they're really good drivers and I want to see them out there. But I really like seeing somebody like Bobby Labonte and then Willie T. Ribbs and then I think Paul Tracy's going to be out there. Some of these older guys.
Yeah, I think they're. You know what they're. I think they're trying to target that little bit that pissed off older demographic of NASCAR. The good old. They're gonna see those names like, well, shoot, man, I'm gonna watch that, man. I'm gonna watch that. Who we got in there? We got that Helio. We got that Paul Tracy. We got Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart. Oh hell yeah, I'm gonna watch that shit.
If they do that and then don't try to necessarily compete with NASCAR, which I know they wouldn't go head to head, but even like if they don't brand it as competition to NASCAR, I think it'll do really well. But I think as soon as they draw that line in the sand, I think that's kind of where, like you see in professional wrestling with WWE and AEW, like, yeah, it's cool to have those wars back and forth, but also you're going to divide a fan base, you know what I mean? A passionate fan base. And if maybe not so much in NASCAR, but if they just say like, well, we're the alternative to NASCAR, which Stewart would be an idiot to do since he has a team in there.
Yeah.
But if they were going to market it as that, I think it wouldn't do near as good as what it looks like. What they're trying to do is bring as many different eyes from as many different forms of racing to it and say, look, we're not a competition. We're just another playground on another night. And I think it's going to be really successful. I may be wrong, but I think it's going to do really good.
I think so too. I hope so. We desperately need a new IROC. I think it's about fucking time, don't you think?
Oh yeah, and the short track. Oh man, the way they're saying it's going to be mostly short tracks, man. I just hope they don't treat it like, well, whatever. It's just this. Like, I want to see if somebody dumps somebody's shit. I want to see two legends. I want to see a IndyCar legend and a NASCAR legend fucking.
Paul Tracy will beat somebody's ass.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see him get it.
Remember when he whipped Tagliani's ass that time, didn't he?
Probably.
I think on like it was a street course or something, and somehow they wrecked, and Tagliani was yelling at him, rightfully so, and kept grabbing him, and eventually I punched him in the helmet because Tagliani had his helmet on, and they went to the ground.
That's funny.
And TV cut away as soon as they went to the ground. They cut the pit stops. It was terrible.
Oh, horse shit.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, dude, I'm super excited for it. I don't know if they've said how many drivers they plan on having, but it seems like it's still going to be, what is it, a next year thing, next summer, I think. So they got plenty of time to announce new drivers and stuff. I think they're at 6 now or whatever, somewhere around in there. So, I'm excited to keep on seeing. It's kind of easy. You can go through their following list and see who they're following. And I don't know if they're going to get all those guys they're following or not, but I think they're working on it. So I'm excited to see who they get. All right. I caught the tail end of this Cindric shit. You do the Twitter more than I do. What the fuck happened?
So his merch disappeared off NASCAR.com and Team Penske, and then I think a couple other sites. And naturally, everybody freaked the fuck out. And theories were going around. And initially, when I saw it, my first theory was probably something stupid with, a merch deal. Because somebody had tweeted, like some sort of reporter. He wasn't like a big reporter, but he was like an independent reporter. Tweeted about how driver merch deals are done, and maybe he didn't have one at this point, and they were just still selling old stuff. Because let's be honest, I don't think there's a huge line for Cindric merch yet. I don't know that there ever will be, but right now, definitely not. And anyway, as the night went on, though, more people were saying there was actually a rumor going around that he was arrested for tax fraud. And then there was another rumor that Moneyline, and it wasn't so much a rumor, it was just a law firm last year had done an investigation on Moneyline, and people were saying, Moneyline, it's another DC Solar and all this. So there were just these theories going around of legal shit, which I didn't know what to believe. I found it a little odd that if he was arrested for tax fraud, that his merch would instantly disappear. You know what I mean? Because it's not good, but it's not like he,
Mm-hmm.
If he like killed somebody, I'd get it. But it's like, okay, he's accused of tax fraud. He's not the first guy to really be accused of that, and probably wouldn't be the last. Either way, next day it comes out, even Team Penske was like laughing about it. Sorry for the scare. They had only produced so much and it sold out. So all that was left were Moneyline die casts, and they were working hard to produce more. So it was a case of NASCAR Twitter jumping to conclusions. And then, everybody's pointing the finger at everybody. And that's actually where there's been some serious shit. We're recording this podcast a day late because I slept through it last night. Went to bed at 6:30. There's been some serious shit happening on Twitter that obviously some of us aren't aware of. But then we see shit like this, and then people getting mad over this and leaving Twitter over this and stuff while they're trying to grow followings. And I've made a lot of fun of that, but I don't ever want that to be taken as making fun of some of the serious stuff that happens on the old Twitter, because there's some serious stuff. But sorry, I'm reading something. Yeah, it was just and I guess this kind of ties into something later on the outline. I'll go ahead and touch on. People were going at Darian because Darian tweeted about jumping to conclusions, and he, I guess, kind of got angry and tweeted something about staying in white people's heads being funny. And that was the wrong thing to say.
Black flags matter, right? Darian?
Yes. He tweeted that, and people flipped out. The tweet had been deleted by the time I woke up this morning, but I woke up, saw that, and then started trolling that tweet. And then later I found out some serious stuff was happening, and there was some confusion as to what I was trolling on about. But yes, so Twitter's been a war zone lately.
Yeah, that's why I don't just fucking I don't.
Dude, after like. I have no desire to really get on Twitter much anymore. There's a lot of good shit, a lot of good memes and stuff, but like NASCAR Twitter, terrible.
Hey, there's just no point in wasting your time with that horse shit, man. There's plenty of other good stuff on Twitter you can take your time with. Darian's a good guy. He just always he always seems to say the wrong thing or say it the wrong way.
I thought what he said was funny. I wasn't offended. I mean, yes, in his situation, and that's what a lot of my tweets lately have been. If you're trying to grow a brand, don't tweet serious shit. You know what I mean? And this is not saying, like, if somebody's like really in a bad place, like, yeah, use your platform. If you don't like that, just get away from it. Like, unfollow it, mute it, whatever you got to do. But people who are legitimately out here trying to grow brands, we've seen it with Lombard. He's done it a good bit. And I just want to talk to these guys. I'm like, look, if you're trying to grow a following, why are you tweeting so much negativity? And not negativity that's funny, like negativity that's just like, it's not going to gain you you know what I mean? Like, there's enough bullshit out there. Why not try to be unique? I don't get it.
I don't really give a fuck, to be 100% honest with you. I mean, I don't really give a shit about anybody else. I just, something's funny on Twitter, cool. If it's not, I don't really give a shit.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're trying to grow a following, and like, why would you want to constantly not cause problems, but be involved in bullshit like that? You know what I mean? Like,
because that's what the people eat up, apparently. Understand.
I guess, but it's not a long-term following you're building, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I still don't give a shit.
I'm getting attacked for my old tweets because of current things that are happening, but things I've said in the past were not.
Yeah, about to say, you're another one. You like to spice up the fucking people.
I do, but like, I'm not gonna tweet like about. I'm trying to I'm a memer. Like, I meme stuff. I'm saying, like, these people who say stupid shit to try to get people riled up, and then as soon as people get riled up, they're like, "Mate, you don't know what I'm going through." You know what I mean? Like, that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. Like, you don't?
No, I don't give a fuck.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, if you want, if you're gonna say something, stand by it. You know what I mean? Like, stand by it. Don't do this whole say something, and then when people get mad at you for it, don't fucking like, make it. I'm sick of these sob stories, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And my stuff's been taken and applied to a whole different situation, and that's what I was trying to get away from today on Twitter. But either way, people were pissed at
it's just Twitter. Fucking people will forget about it in 12 hours. And they'll forget about it by the time they log on. Dude, people get on fucking Twitter. They read something for 30 seconds. They get upset about it. They fucking refresh to see how many notifications they can get in a 2-minute period. They log out to go fucking beat off or something. They come back and it's just, and they forget about it. It's just all fucking bullshit. It's all it is. It's all it fucking is. and everybody fucking moves on with their fucking lives and does something else stupid. Jesus fucking Christ. Fucking.
That's what I talked to Darian when I woke up too, because was like, man, you had a night, and I was like, dude, they're after you right now, but give it, a few hours, somebody will say something stupid, and
yeah, everybody always forgets about his shit, unless it's one of those Facebook groups that I don't know, all they really care about is him. Then it's I don't think they got anything better to do anyways. But
no, they'll find the next one.
So Smithfield's back. Good for them. Good for Eric, I guess. Hopefully they're getting their sponsor dollars worth. I don't know if they are or not, but it seems like they are. They keep on coming back. So
all those polls he was getting.
Yeah, that's true. I'd love me some Smithfield bacon. I'll keep on buying it. Fuck yeah. I'm all for supporting the sponsors. Did he sign both Smithfield came back and then Almirola signed another year with Stewart Haas?
That I don't know. All I saw was the Smithfield thing, but I would imagine, I mean, that's got to keep him in that seat. And honestly, I think I said it on here, or I may have said it on stream, but I really see SHR staying the same for at least one more year. I really don't think they're going to throw Briscoe into 1 year of this package. I think they're going to let him go next year. And even if there's zero competition, fuck it. Let him win a championship, or maybe the way it looks, a second championship. You know what I mean? Then move him up when everybody's back even in a new car.
It's the same they're doing with Gragson. He caused some shit. I did see that with the
that was funny.
The pen emoji. Where's he going? But he ended up just re-signing a 1-year deal, and that's smart because that's exactly why the fuck would you just throw him into the bullshit aero package for a year just to have another new car? You know what I mean? There's fucking no point. Let him just just continue to work on the craft down there in Xfinity Series. There's no point in throwing a rookie into this horse shit for another year, just to switch them up, and switch the cars around again. So. Yeah, it doesn't seem like Clint Boyer, he wants to do another year, I would imagine. I don't know why he would, but I was surprised he didn't take the same route that all the other some of the older guys, I guess, did, and just kind of got the fuck out of there before the cars kind of went downhill. But he's props to him, man. He's still sticking it out, trying to win as much as he can before he goes out. But yeah, it seems like he wants to do another year, so I guess we'll get another year of Boyer. I like Boyer, but here's the thing. I think it's about time. We need him in the fucking broadcast booth, dude. We need him.
No, I agree. I do agree.
He's gonna be our next Darrell Waltrip, I think. We just need some more fucking energy in the booth, and he's gonna be the guy. I guess he's lined up with Fox, isn't he? I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, we've seen it with a lot of people, like with Junior. I remember when he set out of the Clash, he was with Fox, and they signed with NBC later. I don't know how it works while people are driving. You know what I mean? I think they just kind of go wherever people take them. I would say, too, you're more likely to see a current driver with Fox because I don't think they roll as deep with at-track talent, and they're not in the middle of the playoffs. So you're not going to have guys wanting to really go up there and call an Xfinity race when they could be down there watching the Xfinity race and actually debriefing with the teams. So I don't really know.
I'd like to see it back to a 3-man booth, man. Mike Joy, Clint Boyer, Jeff Gordon. I think that'd be a nice little booth. Get a little driver-to-driver, Gordon and Boyer going back at it because they've had history. So I don't know. I think they'd work well together, and I think Fox absolutely needs a 3-man booth, man. 2 gets kind of old after a while,
Oh yeah.
But yeah, fuck it. Let's get Clint Boyer to the booth. Clint Boyer to the booth as soon as we can.
Dude, that would be. I mean, I don't know. We've said that about several people, but I really think, I don't know. I mean, people shit on Gordon, but I think if you added some excitement like we've seen with Larry Mack being closer to the booth, even though he wasn't fully in it this year, Gordon's not really that bad because Gordon offers some of the best insight really that we've seen in the booth in years, I feel like, on NBC or Fox. I think that he really does a good job of explaining shit. He's just not, he's kind of dry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you have a guy like Boyer over there hooting and hollering.
Oh, yeah. You need that Clint Boyer energy in every booth. You have your lead, you have your driver crew chief who knows what the fuck he's talking about, and then you have your excitement guy. That's, dude, he would complete the Fox booth, I'm telling you. But I believe that brings us to the Moonhead mailbag. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm scrolling through the mailbag. Oh man. So we've got a meaty mailbag. We may have to skip some things just due to time constraints. But starting on the poll, askmoonhead@gmail.com. That's the email. Starting on the poll, Cameron Davis. Which button do you guys press at the gas pump? 87, 89, or 93? I've never had a problem with 87. I have paid for the expensive shit at times, but I don't necessarily think that you need it unless you're in one of those vehicles that require it.
Yeah, I'm an 87 kind of guy myself.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a hell of a lot cheaper. I mean, I know some people who have vehicles who you have to get the premium shit. But
why the fuck would you buy a car like that? Why the fuck would you buy that?
Well, typically these are nicer cars. These people have money. You know what I mean? They can afford it. So
fuck that.
I guess that's the thing I don't understand when people who don't have like cattle operations or need a diesel truck buy a diesel truck and they're like, well, I get better gas mileage. It's like, well, you pay $1 more for your fucking gas, so it's kind of evens out, does it? You know what I mean? Like maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
87 King.
Yeah, 87. Sorry, I'm replying to something.
Oh no, take your time. No, if you'd rather have another conversation with somebody else, you can go ahead.
No,
we can wait on the podcast.
Fabio Martins writes, "Hey Travis and Cozy, sorry for the confusing question last week. So I guess it's been almost 8 days ago. What is the worst race you've watched in the Gen 6 cars? Also, did you hear one of Mike Harmon's haulers got stolen after Daytona with a race car in it? Yes, we did hear about that.
It's hard to miss that one. Yeah. What was the question?
Worst race you've watched in the Gen 6 cars. Oh, man.
That's a tough one to pick.
Past 2 years, it would probably have to be in there. But honestly, I would say this year at Atlanta, not necessarily that it was the worst, but it's just like it's the worst considering the potential of the track, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's going to have to be the year 2019. When that year first started, dude, everybody on the new aero package, those are some of the worst fucking races. I think they've gotten a little bit better now because the teams are getting a little bit better with finding ways around it, I guess. Just they can do different things. They've learned to set up the cars better to better handle the dirty air, if that makes sense. But at the same time, it's still an issue. It's just it's improved things. It's just, the teams learn, they figure out little things, but. Geez, I don't know, dude. There's plenty of, it'd probably have to be, I don't know, maybe a short track, maybe Phoenix. I was thinking maybe with the horseshit aero package, New Hampshire. Oh boy, that's the thing. There's a lot of them, and it was especially before they switched back to the old package on the smaller tracks. I don't have a specific one for you, but 2019, I'm sure you'll find it there.
Is that the end of your thought?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it seemed abrupt, but all right. Dear Slayer 887 says, "Hello, Travis and Cozy. I hope y'all are doing well. What is your favorite race y'all have watched in person? P.S. The best condiment is ranch." He put ranch in all caps. Oh man, best race I've watched in person. 2015 Martinsville, from an excitement standpoint, was pretty damn awesome. So I'm gonna go with that one.
What was the question? Best race I've ever watched in person?
Yeah.
You
weren't there for 2015 Martinsville, I don't think, were you?
No, through and through, I'm thinking 2013 Bristol night race, probably for me. The thing with Martinsville would be an easy pick, like 2017, 2018. But the thing with it, though, is that the races always start off pretty tame because they're so long, you know what I mean? Bristol is one of those few tracks I feel like the pace is, like, they just go so much faster around Bristol that the race pace and the excitement level is just a bit higher for the entirety of the race. Late race, I'm taking Martinsville, but like Bristol, man, all the way through. That Bristol, that was still one of the coolest races I've ever been to. So I'm taking 2013 Bristol night race.
Alrighty. Moving on, and I'm trying to screen some of these questions because there's so many of them because we didn't do one last week for whatever reason. So they've kind of piled up here.
Yeah, we switched nights and we didn't. It got lost in.
Yeah, we kind of forgot about it. So bear with me, folks. Jeff Nooney writes, "Hey, Cozy and Travis, hope y'all are doing good. I think it would be pretty damn cool to have Truck/Xfinity race together next year on a road course. Doesn't have to be Daytona, but what is your take on that? Love the podcast. Take care and go Mariners." Is that how you say it?
Mariners.
Okay. I actually really like that idea. Maybe not a points race at first, but I've thought for a long time we should really have like an Xfinity All-Star race and a truck All-Star race, even if it's not at the same time as the big boy All-Star race. But like, I think it'd be really cool. They could do the Roval. Maybe like the night before the big All-Star race, do the Roval and do trucks and Xfinity out there. I think that'd be pretty cool, don't you?
For an All-Star race,
I think I mean,
I'd rather see an All-Star race on an oval. Like, road courses are cool, but I'm about sick and tired of the fucking. We gotta have road courses for everything. You know what I mean?
Well, I am too. Like, I don't think we should be adding more, but I'm saying I don't want to see it'd have to be done on a road course. Well, for the sake of this question, he's saying a road course. I don't want to see him try this for a points race, because what if you get fucking, Jesse Awuji out there in a truck, and then Chase Briscoe is coming up on him. You know what I mean? And a truck costs an Xfinity car points. Like, okay, I don't know that I'd like that. Why not test it in like a non-points format or something? Or even before the Clash. If they're going to do the Clash on a road course, which I'm not a huge fan of, why not try it that weekend at the Daytona road course? Do Xfinity and trucks there the night before. Like, I think it would be cool.
It wouldn't work.
You don't think it'd work? No. I think it'd be stupid enough to work.
No, I don't like. I'm just thinking of trucks and Xfinity. It's like you got your top couple of teams in both, but then there's everybody else, and everybody else isn't gonna want to do that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, would it be cool? I'm sure it probably would be. Do we need it? Fuck it, no. I don't. I don't know. I feel like we're in the stage of NASCAR now where it's like, have we tried this? Have we tried it? No. All right. Can we schedule that in? I don't think we need to do it.
All right. I disagree. Let's see.
More trouble than what it's worth.
Connor writes, so I don't really know. Whoa, man. I don't really knows what everyone issue with Zane Smith, according to Travis Tweet, but I really think he'll be a contender for the 8 Xfinity car this offseason and a great Chevy prospect for Cup in 3 to 5 years. What do y'all think of Zane Smith? I have nothing against the guy. I think he's pretty good, but I don't want him to turn into, how many truck races has he won? 2? I don't want him to just turn into, like some NASCAR fans have a bad habit of somebody like runs decent once in a truck and then wins a couple of races down the road and they're all of a sudden they're the next Jimmy Johnson. Like, I think we need to wait, see how Xfinity goes. Because it can go both ways. I don't know that trucks or Xfinity really show what a driver's capable of that much anymore. I mean, or really it has ever, because we saw Jimmy Johnson suck and everything and then go to Cup and look what he did. And then you have people who do great in the lower ranks and they come to Cup and don't really do anything. Zane Smith, the way people talk about him right now, it's kind of got Eric Jones written all over it, where he won the truck races, won some Xfinity races, then got to Cup and struggled. And he's not bad. I'm not saying Eric Jones is horrible, but I don't think that we need to put all this pressure on these guys and say because he won 2 truck races, he's going to be the next big thing.
He's competent.
And I don't think he's very competent, and I don't think he'll suck by any means. And it's not that people hate him. It was just when he won that first race, he had dressed up like Trump for Halloween the year prior, so people were freaking out over that. That's all I was referencing in that. But yeah, I think he's good. I don't have anything against him, but I also think we need to stop just saying it's the second coming of Christ when somebody wins 2 truck races.
He's competent enough to win. Whoop-de-fucking-do. He did pretty good in Xfinity for the handful of ones. Everybody, I remember when they announced that when he was in the 8 car with JRM, and everybody was like, huh? Who? What? But, he wins a truck race. Everybody gives a shit. He has a couple bad weeks. Crashes here and there. Nobody gives a shit anymore. He wins again. Oh, look at that. Everybody gives a shit again. Obviously, he's competent enough to win, so he's already a step above a handful of guys, so I don't know. Jesus, I don't know how old he is, but he'll be around, I'm sure. If you win at least one race, he'll be around for long enough, so we'll see if he's good or not eventually.
Sorry, I'm scrolling again. Trying to screen these. I should have done it before. This one's for you, Cozy. Jacob Davis writes, "Hey guys, love the content. F1 is talking about moving the USGP to another track or street circuit. How would you feel about them going to the Roval at Charlotte?" So I guess it's not necessarily just for you. I think it'd be cool to see F1 there, but I don't know that it would really work that great. But Cozy watches F1, so I'll let him answer this one in full.
Yeah, they wouldn't really. I mean, F1 would probably be able to do it just fine. The track's not very bumpy. F1 has a big thing against bumps. They're pussies, so they don't like them. That's why they made them fix COTA, which is kind of horse shit, but, whatever. So they wouldn't have to do anything. The only thing they'd probably have to do is take out the fucking turtles. That'd probably be not good on an F1 car or wing or anything. There's other tracks they could go to that's better, though. IMS is not one of them, but that's the one I'm rooting for. Anything that's closer to me than COTA, I'm all for. So I don't know. Charlotte would be cool. Yeah, sure, why not? They could get away with it. But once again, dude, you realize how many like road courses we have in the U.S. There is a fucking shitload, and not only is there a shitload, but there's a plenty that are good enough that you could use for an F1 track. So I don't know.
Yeah, man. I don't think they should settle for Charlotte. I do agree with that.
Yeah.
But it'd be cool. I want to see IndyCar go there because that test was, I mean, you can't tell me that test was just because, you know what I mean? Who was it? Newgarden or whatever went out there.
Yeah, I'm sure IndyCar will probably end up there at some point. I mean, at the rate they lose tracks every fucking year, they're going to have to give the Roval a shot for a year or two, and then they'll lose that date again. So, yeah, I mean, it's we'll see something there, I'm sure.
Karsten Bell writes, "Hey, Michael and Travis," he called you Michael. "My first question is, what is your thoughts on high horsepower? I was watching the 2014 Texas Fall Race, and the engines were just screaming. And it made me miss 950 horsepower a lot. Just wanted to know your guys' thoughts."
Yes.
Man, we miss it. But I have a problem. People
Me too.
praise the 2014 package, but I don't remember liking it that much. I thought it was too aero-dependent. You know what I mean? It was a lot better than what we got now, but I think it was more exciting because they were doing that shit with the fenders or the side skirts, and it was cutting people's tires and causing them to fight in the playoffs. But the racing itself was good. Don't get me wrong. There were some great battles in 2014. I got to see one with Casey Kane and Matt Kenseth at Atlanta.
Oh, Matt Kenseth. That was a good one. Yeah.
But
back when that was about the last couple of years of Atlanta.
Yeah. I don't think 2014 needs to be our standard. I thought 2018 was a just as good, if not better. You know what I mean? 2018, we saw some really good shit, and a lot of people shit on that season, but I thought racing-wise, 2018 was pretty good.
2014 is very inflated just because that was Dale Jr.'s one of his best years in the last decade.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here. A lot of people remember good things from that year just because they're Dale Jr. fans, and I'm one of them. Honestly, I really don't remember a whole lot from 2014 because it's been fucking forever ago, and I've got an awful memory. All right, I just do. But like anything from like 2015 is when they started kind of going downhill. 2014 behind that, dude. A lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, we miss high horsepower," but like, actually go back and sit down and watch one of those fucking races, dude. I did that not too terribly long ago. I talked about it a couple of times, but I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't do it enough. I sat down and watched the 2008 race that Dale Jr. won at Michigan, and it was like, holy fuck, dude, these guys are running the top, they're running everywhere, they're running the bottom, they're running the middle, and like at that time, Michigan was fucking 25 grooves wide. It was just like, it was different, and it was fucking cool seeing everybody be able to actually race the track, and because they had the horsepower to do it, you know what I mean? And obviously Michigan was a different track back then as well. But horsepower, dude, I can't believe it's 2020 and we're at this point now where it's like everything should just have fucking 1,000 horsepower. If you're a top series of anything, you should just automatically have 1,000 horsepower. Why the fuck not? Why wouldn't you?
Well, I mean, I get that from
everything.
Like the purist side of it, but like also I'm for whatever is going to put on a great show. I don't care if they have 300 horsepower if they can make it work. It's just
I'd draw a line there. I wouldn't go that low. I need enough horsepower to get the ass end happy. If the ass ends aren't getting happy with this with tire spin, then
that's what I'm saying. Dog. If we put a shitload of downforce on them at 1,000 horsepower, like it's not. I don't know that it's really going to change anything. You know what I mean? Like I'm totally fine. Hell, I mean with the what they had at Dover, that was a decent product, I thought, for Dover. You know what I mean? So it doesn't have to be a just fuck ton of horsepower. I mean,
it doesn't have to be, but it should be. Same with fucking IndyCar. Come on, grow some fucking balls. Give them some fucking horsepower back for the Indianapolis 500 month. We talked about that last. Fuck it, man. Everybody should have a shitload of fucking horsepower. Cup needs to have the most horsepower. It needs to go back like it used to be. Xfinity a little bit less, trucks a little bit less from that. You know what I mean? I need wheel spin. I need fucking hustlage. We don't got hustlage. Pisses me off.
I do, especially in like qualifying scenarios and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I want to see them hustling it, but also it's a fucking aero and engineering game these days. I don't know.
Horsepower single-handedly ruined qualifying. You can't like we don't have qualifying anymore anyways, but it's like you can't just sit down and watch like single car qualifying back when they were fucking doing it now with the current stuff we've got was just holding it wide open. That's no fucking fun.
Well, I get that.
And the margins are like a thousandth of a second in between.
I get that, but like that's not because we don't have 1,000 horsepower. That's just because of the package overall. Like back when qualifying was good, they didn't have 1,000.
I want to see them stick it wide open with 1,000 fucking horsepower.
They wouldn't.
Exactly.
Yeah, but they weren't back when the package wasn't fucking stupid. When they had 800 horsepower and were fucking getting after it, even if they were wide open, they were still hustling it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily think we need 1,000 horsepower. It'd be cool, but I don't think we need it.
Well, there you have it.
Green. Right. Who is your sleeper pick for the playoffs? Oh man, I think.
We'll talk about it coming up because we did our little playoff grids. I got to look at mine. I don't think I
don't agree with my playoff grid already though.
I don't agree with mine either. Pick.
I'm gonna say it because it's not gonna affect my playoff grid. It wouldn't surprise me to see Boyer go far.
Yeah, I don't think I have a sleeper. I think the biggest sleeper I have is fucking DeBenedetto making the round at 12. It's so tough to predict, but it always comes down to the same fucking people every year anyways, so I don't know. Hopefully we see somebody go deep, but I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
Sorry, getting up here to the top of these. Brandon Stiegel, I think is how you say that. Sorry if I didn't, yeah. Oh, he's the disgruntled NASCAR guy on Twitter. Dear Travis and Cozy, what do you guys think about Eldora Speedway unfollowing all the official NASCAR accounts and the possibility of the Truck Series and NASCAR no longer going there in 2021 in the future? Signed, that disgruntled NASCAR guy. So I heard a rumor on this. I think it happened after Stewart made his remarks about Larson and them needing to reinstate him. So what if Tony said, look, we just won't bring the trucks back if y'all don't reinstate Larson?
Oh,
I don't know that it's that, but man, like, what if that's a fucking like Stewart fucking using that track as leverage in that situation would be weird.
That'd be a shame though if it really came to that. But
they'd find another dirt track, and I don't think it would come to that because Larson will get reinstated, and I know they said he did like an informal application or whatever, is yet to do the formal thing. I don't think he plans on being back in NASCAR this year, and I don't think he should be. I think
NASCAR season's almost over. It's no fucking point doing it.
That and NASCAR, you know, they've done a lot with the racial side of things lately, and letting him back in right after they do that would look bad.
Yeah,
and then also the media shitstorm. Even I don't believe Kyle Larson's a racist piece of shit. We've been over this. I think he's a fucking dumbass who said something that was fucking stupid, and he paid for it. And I think he's actually sincerely taken the steps to learn from it. And I don't think he should be blackballed from NASCAR. That being said, I also don't think he should just be rushed back in. You know what I mean? People are comparing it to Jeremy Clements. But Jeremy Clements, who the fuck is Jeremy Clements? There wasn't recording of him saying it. He just got reported. And he wasn't one of the biggest stars in the Cup Series saying it just so, you know, freely.
Yeah, there's hardly anybody who knows about that Clements incident.
Yeah. So It's completely different. I support him as a person who was a Larson fan in Cup, and as somebody who has really, I think he's earned my respect back, and I think he's earned a lot of people's respect back. I think he'll be back, but I don't think it'll be this year, and I don't think NASCAR needs to let him back this year.
Yeah, I guarantee you. We'll hear it in the one day. Everybody's gonna wake up. It's gonna be probably December 9th or January 11th or something, and it's gonna be Kyle Larson reinstated, and that'll be Twitter for the day. It'll happen in the off season because that's obviously the best fucking time to do it, and they'll put it all together real fast, and he'll be back in a Cup car, I'm sure. I'm all for it, dude. I obviously made a fucking mistake, and who the fuck knows whether he learned from it or not. And, obviously he's probably going to want to come back, and, hopefully he did. I'm sure he probably did. I'd like to hope so. I always enjoyed watching him race anything. I still do. I've watched him win twice already on 2 different dirt tracks this year. He's a no matter, who he is or what he's about and whether you like him or not, he's one of the best drivers on the planet right now doing just about everything. So it's like, what the...
And that's something that has kind of upset me lately, because I'm one of the first people to call him a dumbass and say, I 100% think that trying to think how I want to say this. People can be mad and they can discredit what he's doing on dirt, but I also see it as just what a statement. He got off social media. He went and he learned, even more than I saw pictures of him working with charities, but then reading an article about him, he's reached out to several groups and learned. And it just sounds like to me, he was an ignorant young guy who didn't appreciate what he had, really. And I think a lot of us had lied to ourselves and thought, Larson appreciates NASCAR. But I really, after seeing this whole situation, I don't think he realized how great he had it in NASCAR. You know what I mean? I think NASCAR was just a check to him for a while. Yeah. And I think he was just like, I'll do this for a little bit, win some races, and then I'll go back dirt racing. And I think when that check started coming in, it lit a fire under his ass. And he's like, all right, I got to do something here. And he's made a fucking statement on and off the track. I mean, this is incredible what we're seeing. So he's doing it the way you should do it. He's not out here posting fake apologies and stuff like that. He's out here working to come back. And
I respect what I like to see. I respect he got rid of all the social media. Just fucking get rid of all of it. Go out, do your damn thing. You don't need all that extra fucking horse shit. You really don't. People are gonna either get over it one way or another. And he's just going out there and winning races. You can't. Imagine being the fucking guy discrediting anything he does now. Like, what a fucking asshole, man. Like, I get it. If you want to be upset, be upset. Boo fuck. But that doesn't mean a damn worth of fuck what he's doing on dirt right now. He's just fucking better than everybody else. That's all it is. I don't care if you like him or not. That's the reality of it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. All right, last question comes from Connor once again. One thing I noticed is Legends of the 2000s had a lot more time to develop, like Kenseth and Dale Jr. had 3 years in Xfinity, and most of the Roush drivers. But do you think these drivers are rushed a little too much nowadays, or is this generation is it as good as Gen 4 and Gen 5 drivers? Me personally, I think it's probably a little bit of both, but I definitely do think lack of experience plays a factor. And the cars being so different. I feel like back then, the difference between Busch and Cup was just they're a little slower. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. You realize, you go back to those days, you remember how many cars there used to be? That's a big problem now. We don't have that many cars, and the rules were so much different. Like, you had those guys that would dick around in Busch for years, but have, like, Cup starts too. Like, they'd enter them in limited time in Cup, and they'd just be around for a long time. Now it's like, there's just so little cars, there's so little Xfinity rides, like competitive ones that you want to get your guys in, and then, there's so little Cup rides now. Do you realize how hard it's going to be to get in the Cup Series? Like, all these young guys are coming in, and most of them aren't going to fucking go anywhere, you know what I mean? There's so limited rides, and you go back to 10, 20 years ago, you'd have 45, 50 fucking cars showing up to qualify. You had all these guys fucking going through all these different series, dude. There's just so much more to it going on. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
No, yeah. And I agree. Like, there's so many different factors, and then pretty much what you said. But also, like I said,
there wasn't as much competition. Like again, there's so few rides there's so much more pressure to perform now, which I guess
That's
is
true, yeah.
on the bright side, it's kind of a good thing. You know, you're trying to get the best out of these guys. Like you got to give it your all every single fucking race, no matter what series you're in, especially if you're an up and comer. Trucks Xfinity Cup, because you look at Eric Jones, like, you know, he came up through there, he won some races, which is a lot more than a lot of guys could say. But at the same time, man, he's still losing his fucking rides. So it's, you know, it's crazy now. But
well, and I guess kind of like you said, there's a lot of talent going for limited seats, but there's also limited competitive seats. You know what I mean? And people aren't looking at these guys in the non-competitive seats. If Jimmy Johnson was an Xfinity guy today in the same situation, he would have never made it to Cup. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
there's a whole lot of factors like that. And then hell, there were guys like Kenseth wasn't in a great Xfinity ride. He was running for one of Roush's crew chief's side projects or whatever, and won some races. So like it was a lot easier to go out there and do what you could just off your ability. So
that is true.
Yeah. That answers that. So that's the mailbag, askmoonhead@gmail.com. Hit us up with your questions, comments, or concerns. Do you have any comments this week?
I did have one I want to talk about, because I didn't. I thought about it before, but I brought up a a good point. We still do read the comments, so do leave your YouTube comments if you're listening on YouTube. How you doing? Appreciate you. Crazy Butt writes in. I don't get how Kurt Busch has not ran an Indy 500 or any rumors since he went to CGR after getting a 6th place at his first try. Brings up a valid point. I think when he made that move, man, everybody was like, "Oh, look at this! You know, we'll probably see him in the Indy 500 again." Didn't happen. I don't know why it hasn't happened. Maybe he's not interested. It's hard to be not interested after running 6th. He ran really fucking good. He ate shit super fucking hard during practice, or I don't remember what. I think it was during practice. But after that, man, he fucking learned, and he went out there. He was really fucking good. You know, things went a different way, a little bit fast. I mean, he was with a good team, and obviously Kurt Busch knows what the fuck he's doing. But it's crazy to think he hasn't got another opportunity with Ganassi. But hey, you never know. Maybe down the road. I'm excited to see what Jimmy Johnson ends up doing with IndyCar. I want to see him over there and hustle. I want to see him do the 500 now that they got a windscreen. I always love seeing people dip into the 500 just to see how they do, because we've obviously seen a lot of NASCAR guys over over the course of it. We've had Alonso, we've had a bunch of different guys. It's another good reason to follow the Indy 500. You never know who you see who might show up. You know, even rumors of Tony Stewart coming back, but he wasn't gonna fucking fit.
Yeah, I guess that ship has sailed. I think he
yeah.
Well, his thing, I remember hearing him say in an interview, if he did it, he didn't want to be like a sideshow and be a one-off. Like he wanted to run an oval race before to see if he'd be competitive or something.
That's fair.
So,
yeah.
I think that might have been stopped, because I'm sure it's a hell of a lot harder to find sponsors for some random IndyCar, especially oval race that nobody cares about, versus the Indy 500. But I mean, it's Tony Stewart. I'm sure if he really wanted to do it, he could have put a deal together.
A lot cheaper, too, I'm sure, over an IndyCar versus anything else. So,
well, yeah, but I think I don't know that he would want to put in like all that work. You know what I mean? I think he wanted to just jump into a ride, and I don't think there was really going to be funding for somebody to put together an extra ride for a random.
Especially with the superstar racing thing. I think that ship has officially sailed.
Yeah, it's pretty much it's over. Next up, I put this in the outline. I don't think I even said it.
I wanted to watch this, and I didn't. I forgot it was today.
I didn't know it was today. Well, talk about shit. I thought he was supposed to do it over New York City, first of all. So I don't know where I got that idea. But second of all, who the fuck puts a major stunt at like 10 a.m. on a weekday?
Well, it might have been a weather-related thing. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. That was probably the window they had, and that's why they did it like that.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, because he'd have blown away. We're talking about David Blaine tying himself to a bunch of balloons and that were filled with helium and going up into the air and then putting on a parachute and falling off of the balloons.
Did you see
it? Was cool.
Yeah, how did it go? Because I didn't see it. All I saw was pictures.
It was cool, but it's man, like we're getting to that point in society where it's like stunts, like it's hard to like one up people. You know what I mean? So like if he'd have done that in the 90s, like fuck yeah. But it's like this. I personally thought it was cool because I appreciate what goes into it. But a lot of people were just like, yeah, it's cool. The coolest part was him putting on the parachute. Because that was dangerous.
Oh,
only thinking about it.
Dude, God. See, that's the thing. I didn't really know. I knew who David Blaine was. I didn't really know a lot about him, what he did. But I was I don't know if you saw it. He was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he did a lot of crazy shit on there. He had Joe Rogan shove a fucking ice pick through his arm. The craziest fucking thing. He drank about a gallon of water and swallowed a frog and then spit it back up. This was still alive.
There goes some of my respect for him, because that's disgusting. But
that's fucking crazy, though.
My brother's a big fan of him, so
yeah. See, I didn't know. He was talking about some of his past projects, like being buried alive and standing up in this ice house or whatever for 60 hours or so. It was like all this stupid shit he does. Fucking, dude, that's fucking crazy to me. Just watching that frog thing, though. He's spitting up water and eventually he just spits up a fucking frog. I don't even know how they get it. I don't even know how you could possibly get a frog down your throat and then get it back up. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
He had a frog in his throat.
Yeah, I knew you'd make that joke. But fucking, I'm glad the balloon thing went well, though, because that I heard about it and you never know how these things go. But
I'm sure he'll come back and do something bigger and better than this. But I mean, it was cool. Don't get me wrong, but it just like the hype around it. There wasn't much hype around it, and I guess because of the weather window or whatever. I thought he was going to do it over New York City. Like I said, I don't know why the fuck I thought that. But it also, I guess it makes sense that they'd need to be out in an open area, because one gust of wind and he was gonna go splat up against the side of a building if he did it in the city. But yeah, that's another thing. Like I said, stunts are getting to the point. Like, when are we just going to not do stunts anymore? You know what I mean? Because everything's going to be done. Like, eventually the jumps are going to get too high and too far to accomplish. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's when you got to get creative. You got to do something new.
I guess, but it's like you already have guys locking themselves in boxes underwater for 12 hours. You got a guy who literally skydived from space. You got Pastrana coming back and recreating Knievel's stunts, and then all the other crazy shit he's done. You had that jackass who went up in his homemade rocket to try to see if the world was flat and made it about 1,200 feet up and then came crashing back down.
Oh, man.
Like, eventually it's just going to get to the point where, like, what's the difference between, like, doing a stunt and just being a fucking idiot?
Did you see, I don't know if you've ever seen it. I actually just watched the clip not too terribly long ago. I think it was the 2011 Indy 500. They had a pre-race thing where they set up a big Hot Wheels track, basically. They took this fucking like trophy truck kind of thing. They put it at the top, and they basically built a really big Hot Wheels ramp in the infield. And before the race, whoever was driving it drove it down the ramp and jumped like a fucking Hot Wheels car and landed it. I don't know why they reminded me of it, but yeah, it's just like, I don't know, stupid shit like that. They need to start doing shit like that in NASCAR races. We talked about that before, but stupid pre-race stuff to keep the fans entertained. I don't know. You have to look at that sometime, though. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I wish I would have. I was gonna say there wasn't really any hype around it. I'm not a big. I don't know. I kind of live under a rock, anyways. But I was hoping I'd probably hear about it before it happened so I could watch it. But
well, yeah, like I'm not. My brother's a big David Blaine fan, but I'm not. So like, I'm not like I don't hate the guy. I just don't really follow him, and I don't know. I had heard about it, but usually like when Walinda does the rope walk things or whatever, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, usually, at least on Twitter, you see like an ad for it or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now those are usually on TV, but still, you would think something like this would have been promoted, but I don't know. I guess it wasn't. Whatever.
Hey,
moving on to throwbacks.
Oh, real quick. Big news out of Anderson. Well, not big news, but practice results from Anderson Speedway, Little 500. I'm going to be there this weekend. Tyler Warrig coming out with a 11.296, top of the charts on practice day. Cody Swanson, the favorite every year, P2 in practice. Aaron Pierce, who flipped his dick off in 2017, third. Kenny Schrader's doing it again this year. Excited, dude. Kenny Schrader is one of the coolest motherfuckers ever, man. Oh, no way. Dakota Armstrong's in the race. What? You remember that name?
Really?
Yeah, he was 8th in practice. I'm just looking at some of these names. Kyle Hamilton's always really fast. Kyle O'Gara, Bobby Santos. I'm looking at some of these other names. But yeah, dude, Kenny Schrader, man, when we were at IRP, they introduced him as 1985 Cup Rookie of the Year. He's still getting after it, dude. The Little 500 is probably one of the most demanding races out there, and he just fucking shows up and does it every year, man. He just doesn't age. He's a fucking cool ass. But fucking Dakota Armstrong. I think he's an Indiana boy. I don't think I've ever seen him race though. He's PA practice. All right. What the fuck ever happened to him? He was with RPM, wasn't he? In the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, he was one of those guys he was never like a big, like everybody thought he was going to be something, but I always liked him. I thought he had some potential. He had some good runs. Remember that 2013 truck race at Dega when they were tandeming and then they had that huge wreck and PK flipped and all that? I think he was getting pushed by Kyle Busch coming there, and it looked like he was going to win it until that wreck started in the tri-oval. I remember that being a big highlight of his career. But yeah, I wonder what he's been up to, or I wondered what he's been up to, and I guess now we know.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, I totally forgot about him. But yeah, all right. Well, it'd be cool to see him race. What the hell? Yeah, we're talking about throwbacks. That's I just saw.
Can I give you my opinion on throwbacks, and then you can tell me if you agree or disagree?
Yeah, let's hear it.
I think throwbacks are acceptable if they are not completely lazy, like throwing back to one of your own paint schemes from 2 years ago or whatever, like some people have done. I think it is totally acceptable not to partake in a throwback scheme and just show up with a regular scheme and save like everybody the disappointment if you can't think of one. I think that's acceptable. And 3, I think it's acceptable to make a car that looks like a certain era, but not a specific throwback. I don't think it's acceptable to make a throwback that doesn't look like what you're throwing it back to, or to throw it back, like I said, to 2 years ago.
Yeah, I agree with that for the most part. The biggest thing is throwing it back to a paint scheme and you fuck it up and it doesn't look right. Yeah. Like the one, obviously the Christopher Bell one was just fucking completely stupid. All Guyer's throwback to Dale Jr., the colors were off, weren't they? That's the only problem though, is that they always release the renders and they look a little bit different on track, and sometimes the colors are right. But it looked like, I think they had an actual picture of it in the garage, and it didn't. I don't know, the colors weren't right or something like that. But that's the biggest thing for me, is like when they throw it back to a certain car. Obviously, the colors are the fucking most important thing, and if you fuck them up, it's like the whole thing's ruined. I don't like when people show up without a throwback, because it's like, come on, you couldn't think. But we've done it so many times now. It's like, you kind of start to run out of ones after a while. However, one of the coolest ones, though, I need to buy the T-shirt. JJ Yaley's fucking.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck was that sponsor?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was that's probably one of the coolest ones of the week. And back marker paint schemes always are fucking way better than everybody else's for the most part. Every once in a while, one of those top teams really knocks it out. But yeah, dude, that one's really good. They're making T-shirts. I'm gonna buy one. But yeah, dude, there's so many of them I saw, and they're still announcing them too. I'm so excited because the trucks are coming back to Darlington. That's gonna be so fucking cool.
Biffle.
Yeah, Biffle. Yeah, GMS has got all their throwbacks together. I saw it today. Brett, I don't know who's in. I would assume it's Brett Moffitt. It might be somebody else, but they're Our Motorsports is doing a Mike Stefanik throwback. I saw that today. That's the fun thing about Darlington Week, dude. They announce them like sometimes months in advance, but you get closer, man. It's like you get a handful every day between all the series. So yeah, I'm excited, man. There's some good ones. There's some bad ones. I don't know why there's so many Elliott Sadler throwbacks this year. I kind of thought we were over the Elliott Sadler phase, but I guess not. That's cool. We can.
Yeah, that kind of surprises me, him of all people. But all the throwbacks I've seen to him look good. So
yeah, the Kyle Busch one's pretty cool because
I love it because they changed the number font, and that's been another complaint of mine for so long. These teams who are so hell-bent on keeping their number font, if you're gonna do a throwback, make the numbers look right. I mean, Jesus. Yeah. And this is also an instance where I think NASCAR should be a little more liberal with where they let people put numbers. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, because the graphics rules were a lot different back then. You could really fuck with them. That's that. If they are ever gonna just like fuck off with it for a race, that would be the one. Let the guys do whatever the fuck they want to do with the numbers.
Like some of the numbers should be up on like the contingency spot, and it's not like those are used for anything on most cars anymore anyway. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let them put numbers there. It's not that I'm not saying quarter panel numbers wouldn't happen, so I don't see why anybody would complain about this. Let them fucking make those cars look old.
Absolutely,
son of a bitch. And like I said, it doesn't even have to throw back to anything. If you just want to make a car look old, who was it that threw back to a specific like model of car? Fuck.
Oh, it was Kurt Busch, right? He threw back to his own whatever the fuck he had.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, like, it was. I mean, it was a little weird, but it was it was something.
Weird, but it was different. It's not as bad as these guys saying, "Oh, this is a throwback to this car that was a completely different color with a completely different font," or these guys are, "Oh, here's my car from last year. We're gonna throw it back to that." You know what I mean? Like, only time that's acceptable is if it's in a situation like Jimmy, where he had an iconic car recently, and you want to throw it back to him, or when Stewart retired and they all did recent Stewart schemes, or not recent, but one of them was recent. That's fine, but the whole just lazy half-ass throwbacks, I'd rather you just make a car look old or not do one at all.
I just put one in general that just popped up on my feed. Myatt Snyder's Xfinity throwback. Ooh. That's pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
That's the biggest. Like right up there with the colors of the paint scheme, the number is like just as important. You know what I mean? Especially some of the iconic numbers, man. You got to get them right. And the number fonts. That's the one thing that kind of bugged me about. Some of the throwbacks work if you don't have the right number, but it's like in the case of Jimmy Johnson, where you got the Dale Earnhardt on the side and the Petty on the top, the number fonts are different, which are cool, but they still don't fucking look right because they're not the right numbers. Obviously, you can't put two different numbers on the car, and that's not a direct example, but some of them where it's like they throw back to a certain car, but that certain car wasn't the same number as what you got now, and it's like, I don't know, I'd like to see more guys throw it back to whatever number they got, you know what I mean? Just to really complete it. But there's obviously a lot of shit that goes into the throwbacks every year with sponsors and all that shit. And honestly, sponsors probably ruin them half the times, making sure they're right. But no, it's there's always some good ones. There's always some bad ones. I don't know how I feel about Jimmy Johnson's one yet. It's fucking weird looking.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks exactly what you'd see on a fucking Facebook. Some boomer made it. I don't know. Like you always see him make those die casts where they split them all three of them: Jimmy Johnson and Richard Petty and Dale Sr.
I like it. I think it's really, really cool. I don't think anybody's gonna lie to themselves and say it looks good. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like a paint scheme that's gonna make you have a boner.
Yeah,
but
it's one of those everybody respects it though.
It'll give you a history boner. You know what I mean? Like,
history. All right, for history boners.
I can appreciate.
Can that be our title this week? Can we put boner?
History boners, yeah. But really, I really do think that it's a really, really badass paint scheme to see out there, and it'll be really, really badass to see it out there. I mean, how cool is that? The only other 7-time champion in NASCAR, and instead of throwing it back to himself, he's going to split and do the other two. You know, like, that's fucking cool. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, I think that's pretty neat. Especially, being we're not going to see any other 7-time champions ever again. I don't think.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever going to happen. So yeah,
everybody was saying Kyle would be the next one, but it's not looking good.
It's not looking good. We got to get to this is about the last thing for the podcast. We got to talk about these playoff grids. So hopefully you guys make your own playoff grids. God. You don't gotta do the full extent, but so we don't exactly have a visual, but we'll do our best of explaining here. We can. I'll probably tweet mine out at some point. I don't know if you want to as well.
Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. I guess this is coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, it'd be probably tomorrow morning then. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll tweet. I'll try to schedule a tweet to go along with the podcast.
So I'll talk about mine first. I try to put some. Here's the thing: it's really hard because it's not like any other sport where you got your clear favorites and you got your underdogs and this and that. You have that, but it's like it's racing, so anything can go wrong. Anybody can drop a motor or blow a tire or get dumped by somebody stupid. You know, anything can happen, right? So nobody will ever get one of these right, I don't think. But here's what we got. So out of the first round, the round of 16, which is Darlington, Richmond, Bristol, I got Austin Dillon out of here, Cole Custer, Almirola, and Kurt Busch. And I don't like those picks. I really don't, because Kurt Busch could just as easily make it through the first round, which I probably think he will. He might not, but that's what I ended up with. Almirola, same. Could end up into the next round, might not. Cole Custer, I don't think anybody really knows what he's going to do here in the playoffs, but I guess we're going to find out. But he's probably going to be on most people's list of first guy out. And Austin Dillon, he's Austin Dillon. Nobody likes him. He kind of sucks, and he shouldn't have got a win anyways. So second round of 12, I've got Blaney out, Byron out, DeBenedetto out, and Bowman out. Again, I don't like him. I'm not sold on Blaney. I like Blaney. I think he could go a long ways, but it's like, man, out of the other 2 Penske cars, you got Blaney, and he has his good runs every once in a while, but man, he fucking doesn't sometimes. And it's like, when you get to the playoffs, you need to have every single race go well, unless you win one of them. Then it's, it doesn't fucking matter. But I got Blaney out of here. I'm not confident about that. Bill, I don't even know if Bill's going to make it out of the first round. I like to think he will. He playoff momentum. He got that big win going into the playoffs. I'd like to think he'd get out of the first round, but you never know. DeBenedetto, I don't know. Who knows? That's another one. I don't know if everybody loves DeBenedetto. I think everybody wants to see him go deep. Is he going to go deep? I don't know. I was kind of thought we'd see a little bit more out of him this year, but you never know. Things change getting off in the playoffs. Obviously, this is the Talladega round too. So this is Vegas, Talladega, and the Charlotte Roval. So it could go a lot of different ways. And I got Alex Bowman out of the round of 12 as well. So Blaney, Byron, DeBenedetto, Bowman out of the second round. Third round, round of 8. My eliminations are Chase Elliott, Keselowski, Kyle Busch, and Clint Bowyer. That's where it gets really tough, man, because I don't know if Bowyer can make it all the way. He's usually pretty consistent, but he doesn't quite have that next level race winning speed. So to get to that point might be a little tough. Kyle Busch is probably the toughest one in the whole bracket. He could either be out first round or be the champion. You know what I mean? So it could, I got him in the round of 8, but being eliminated, not making it to the final 4. Keselowski and Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott, man, everybody's like, this is Chase's year, man. Martinsville's always in that round of 8, but I don't know, man. We'll see. So my final 4 is Harvick, Hamlin, Logano, and Truex. I had Kyle Busch in there originally. I thought he might scrape his way into the final 4, but I just don't really see it. I think he won't make the final 4 this year. But it's usually about the same people every year. You always got to filter one of them out. Harvick, Hamlin, Logano, Truex, those would probably be, and you throw Kyle Busch in there, maybe Keselowski. Those are probably going to be your main 5 or 6 that'll be competing for it. So I have Hamlin as my champion. I don't know how I feel about that, but I could see it. Phoenix, he's good at Phoenix. He knows how to win Phoenix. That's about where he threw it away in 2010, I think. So, I mean, it'd be a good little redemption story. Personally, I don't want to see Denny Hamlin win a championship because I just feel like it'd be a big boner deflator on the entire year. I just feel that way when Denny Hamlin wins every time. It's just a big boner deflator. I'd rather see somebody else win. Not because I hate Denny Hamlin, because I really don't hate anybody, but I don't know. It's just not very exciting to see him win. I don't know. That's just how I feel. I think obviously the easy picks are Hamlin and Harvick. Harvick just never seems to totally have it, though, at Homestead, so I just can't pick him. I can't do it. But maybe obviously this year seems to be a bit different for him and the entire team, so who knows? Who knows? Could be Logano, could be Truex, or maybe somebody could pull something out of their ass and get all the way to Homestead get all the way to Phoenix. I'm gonna butcher that for the next 3 years at least. All the way to Phoenix. It's so weird saying that, dude. It's been Homestead for fucking ever. But I'm really excited for it. I'm excited to see the championship race at a different spot. But I hope it's a good playoffs, man. That's all I'm hoping for. I don't give a shit who wins. Don't give a shit who transfers, who doesn't. I just hope it's a good playoffs and everybody has fun. What do you got over there?
Looking at it, I think this first round should be all right, given the revised packages for this year. Second round will be good. I mean, Vegas will be a little iffy, but I think Vegas is one of the better tracks with this, better mile and a half tracks with this package.
You can't go wrong with Vegas in the Roval.
Round of 8's got Kansas, which is great, Texas, which fucking sucks, and Martinsville, which will be great, and then Phoenix. So I think we're in for a decent 10 weeks here.
The cutoff races are the most important, though. Bristol, Charlotte, Roval, Martinsville.
Oh, God. You want to talk about something? 6-7 months ago, me and you thought we were going to go see the first Martinsville night race, see some modifieds with it, and then go to a Martinsville cutoff race with all 3 major series there. And now it's most likely going to happen to where we're not going to get to see either of those things in person. Does that not just chap your ass?
Yeah, a little chapped.
God. Jeez, man. I know they haven't said anything for Martinsville, but it's not looking good. You know what I mean? It's not. I was up there a few weeks ago seeing some family, and it's not looking good. They're locked down up there. So, all right. The way I did my grid, I'm kind of stupid, so bear with me as I see who I eliminated.
You should see how Travis's came out.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. So first round, I have Austin Dillon, Almirola, Bowyer, and Kurt Busch. going bye-bye, and I know you probably heard me earlier say Boyer could be a sleeper and go all the way. I could really see that. Honestly, with any of the 4 I eliminated there, they could do that. But they just right now seemed like the 4 that popped into my mind that would go away. So moving on, get to the round of 12. The ones I have disappearing out of the round of 12, William Byron, Cole Custer. Wait, I'm wrong already. Never mind. So out of the first round,
brother. That's why you got to put the little red lines.
I didn't think about it. I wondered why you did it, and now I know. All right. First round, not transferring. I got Logano not transferring. I got Austin Dillon not transferring. I got Almirola not transferring, and I got and I got Kurt Busch not transferring. Those are my 4. Second round, not transferring. William Byron is not transferring out of the round of 12. I also do not think Matt Benedetto is transferring out of the round of 12. I also do not think Boyer is transferring out of the round of 12. And I don't think that Cole Custer is advancing out of the round of 12. Then, round of 8, going to the final 4. I have my final 4 as Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, and Kyle Busch making a postseason comeback and coming back and getting into the final 4. But I have Denny Hamlin, the FedEx man, winning the title.
Yeah, like you wrote in there FedEx man. I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah, we both ended up picking Hamlin before the podcast. Was like, I got to change mine. But you're like, nah, they're driving good. So we're both.
Well, really, like, me and you are rarely both right. So at the very most likely, we'll both be wrong. So I don't. If we're both right, I mean, if he's who we both think, because we weren't really talking about our picks. If we both just like did ours and then showed each other, and we both ended up with Hamlin, and our grids are so different, that to me says that it's a solid pick, and he's earned that spot to be both of ours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We could have very well both ended up with Harvick, but it just so happened we both ended up with Hamlin. So I don't see the issue.
There's nothing wrong with that, but you know, I don't know. I usually like to go a different route just in case. You know what I mean? But because I think Harvick could just as easily do it. That's the thing, though. Other than that, who the fuck else are you gonna pick? You know what I mean? Truex, I guess. Outside of that, Logano, I don't know. It's tough because you never know. You never know. Hamlin and Harvick could eat shit the entire playoffs. You don't know. I really hope somebody pulls something out of their ass, and because it's been a Harvick Hamlin entire year. I just hope somebody stupid goes out there, and I don't know who would do it though. Clint Boyer maybe. Could you imagine Clint Boyer went all the way and won the championship? He'd probably retire on top of that.
Yeah,
that would be fucking badass.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and like you said, it's not like other sports because a blown tire, a mechanical failure. You know what I mean? It's not just bad performance that could put them up. You could be leading on the white flag of a cutoff race and blow a fucking motor and not transfer. You know what I mean?
So like motor, you could battery could fall out the fucking car. Dude, a million and one things.
Somebody could decide to pay. We saw it with Kenseth and Logano. That's not going to happen. I mean, I guess if somebody was really mad, they could like snap your leg or something. But like for the most part, we don't see these other outside things affecting somebody's playoffs. So
put the wrong side tires on.
We've seen so much stupid shit. We've seen people put wrong tires on. We've seen people's belts come undone, window nets come down, wheels fall the fuck off.
Yeah,
weight fell out of Hamlin's car at the Coke 600. Remember?
Yeah.
You just see so many weird things that could happen. So it's hard to pick. So I was kind of thinking about that. I was like, why don't they emphasize like doing a competition for picking a playoff grid? And I was like, well, with like March Madness and stuff, there's so many more teams going into it. But the more I think about it, as many teams as there are and all these other things, there's just as many, if not more, factors going into the NASCAR one. So even if it's only 16 teams, all 16 of those teams have a million different things that could go wrong. So I'd like to see them do some sort of bracket challenge or something. Even if it's not for like a big thing of money, if it's just like win a trip to the Daytona 500 or something, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, reward the top or the most accurate brackets, I guess.
Yeah, like, or if you get a perfect one, you're entered in a drawing for a big prize or something. You know what I mean? Like, because that'd narrow it down to surely to God, more than like 20 people wouldn't get it perfect. So,
yes, that pretty much brings us to picks. Everybody listening, here's what we're gonna do. I want while we did this, we want to go back after the season's over. We want to, we want to look back at our playoff grids. So if you guys want to do the same, you guys, if you're whoever you're listening, come over to YouTube, comment what your predictions, champion predictions, full rounds, what the fuck ever. We'll go back and we'll look at everybody's predictions, including ours, and see who was right and see who was wrong, and then the ones that are really wrong we'll laugh at. So that brings us to Darlington picks.
Did you tell them to tweet their grids?
Oh yeah, you could tweet them at us as well.
You can't put pictures in a YouTube comment. So
yeah.
If you have a whole grid, don't type out your whole grid, please, for the love of God.
Some people like to do that. Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, if I would just say type who you think's going to be champion, but if you want to show us your whole grid, I'd rather see it tweeted at me.
Yeah, for sure. That's probably the easiest thing, though. Tweet at your champions. We'll see who's right and who was wrong. But yeah, that brings us to the first round of the playoffs. Darlington picks. What is this? The 71st annual Cookout Southern 500.
Ooh, yeah, Cookout's good, by the way. I don't know if y'all have them up there.
No, we don't. I've never had it. I honestly hadn't heard of it until just not too terribly long ago. What is it?
Yeah, it was sad to see Bojangles go, but it's a fair replacement. I recently started eating there. We've had them for probably 10 years down here, but it's just like a cookout. Like you get hot dogs, burgers, stuff like that, and they have really, really good milkshakes. My mom told me their milkshakes were good, and she brought me one here one day, and I've been hooked ever since. I like getting the milkshakes, and their burgers are good, their hot dogs are good, but the milkshakes, man, they got really good milkshakes. But it's just it wouldn't do that good up north. I mean, it would do good in Maryland, but the further north you went, it wouldn't do good because it's kind of like a southern atmosphere type thing.
So who you picking? Do you got a pick?
Yes, I have a pick. I think I was gonna say Truex, but I'm not. I think Kyle Busch, in typical Kyle Busch fashion, just fucking swings for the fences and wins.
There you have it. The one thing I really like about the Southern 500, it's one of the races that shouldn't change length. It's just such a fucking long race. But the beauty of it is that it starts like in the evening or like dayish kind of, but the track transitions so much. So you got the guys who start up front, usually pretty fast here and there, but the track changes and the cars change so much that you got comers and goers basically all race, even with this fucking stupid package. So that usually plays into to the veterans, who have raced the 500, Southern 500 a handful of times, and just kind of understand where the track goes, and that's basically why you see the same motherfuckers up there at the end of the race every single time, like Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Truex, Brad Keselowski. So, I mean, it's tough. Keselowski's, it's probably gonna be one of those guys who wins. So I'm gonna take. Let's see, Harvick. They split it, right? Hamlin, Harvick, the first two back at Darlington. I know Harvick won one of them. Hamlin won the other one, right?
Shit. Yeah. I think Harvick won the first one, and Hamlin won because it was the rain one where he put on that funny mask.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Boy, that's tough. Denny Hamlin, Keselowski, Truex. I'm kind of leaning towards Truex. I remember he almost won that one year, and he blew a tire with a lap or two to go. You remember that? I think who won that? Was Keselowski who won that one? I don't remember who won. It might have been Hamlin. So. I don't know. All of them run together eventually, but I'm gonna take Truex. Fuck it. We'll go Truex as my Southern 500 pick, and you're taking who you taking?
I said Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch. Oh baby. All right.
But I mean, it's like you said, it's gonna like one of them will start up front, and I'll be like hell yeah, and then they'll fall back because of it. And then you also throw in the Darlington stripe. Somebody's gonna knock the wall down who's fast. It seems to always happen. So.
Somebody will cut a tire. Somebody important will cut a tire at some point, and that'll be that. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening again this week. Don't forget to drop your predictions down below. Championship picks and, of course, Darlington picks. Don't forget to tweet your playoff grids at us. And that'll do it. We'll check back in. Obviously, we'll be back next week. But at the end of the season, I'll have a big media episode. We'll talk about our playoff picks and how our grids went. So right there, a little past an hour and a half. So nice little podcast, man. I think it came out pretty good. We appreciate y'all listening. Do you got anything else you want to say?
No, I'm good.
All righty. Well, there you have it. Once again, the Gas Holes Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Wherever you're at, we appreciate you. Sorry it was a day late, but shit happens sometimes. We'll be back next Wednesday. Yeah. We'll be back next Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. Y'all know the deal. We thank you. We appreciate you. We'll catch y'all next week.